What's up? Colby Sharp, 5th grade teacher in Michigan. Welcome to my channel where we try to help kids fall in love with reading. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for subscribing to the channel. If you are, I appreciate that. It means the world to me. Today we're going to be talking about an amazing middle grade novel called Halfway to Harmony by Barbara O'Connor. You probably recognize that name. You probably have read something like How to Steal a Dog. Look how loved this copy of How to Steal a Dog is. Just had a reader fall in love with it last week. Just so loved. Like, I need a new copy, but this one's just, think about the love that has gone into this. So, but that's not the book we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Halfway to Harmony, an amazing book about a boy named Walter, a girl named Posey. They meet when Posey and her mother, Evelina, move in next door to Walter. Walter's kind of a shy kid. He's a pretty nervous kid. Friends aren't really his strength. It's summer. He's feeling, he's not feeling good because his, I guess, best friend, the person that he loves most in the world, his brother Tank, was lost in a war. And they're grieving, his family is grieving that. And it is pretty heartbreaking. And each night he has this dream where it's his birthday and he goes to blow out these candles and his brother shows up, and before then, the dream ends. He keeps having this dream over and over again. He meets Posey. She shows up and she is, I don't know what the right, she is a pistol. She is fun. She is full of energy, full of life. She just, from the get-go, she's just like, you're all in and you just can't get enough of her. Very second day, when they decide to hang out, they go for a walk in the woods and they find a dead body in the woods by their homes. Super creepy, right? But actually, it's a man that's alive. And it turns out to be this man named Banjo, who has a hot air balloon that he crashed. And he breaks his leg and survives, but he can't do much. He can't get anywhere. His truck is broken. And then they end up having to go find the balloon. Posey and Walter do. And there's just all of these different things going on, and you're just so captivated by the book. I actually read this aloud to my students, to my 5th graders. It was our very last read aloud of the school year. And I read it aloud to them without reading it aloud myself. And if you haven't tried that, I highly suggest you do that. My biggest tips when doing that are, number one, ask other people who have read it if it's appropriate, and if they're maybe not appropriate, but if there's any things that you should be worried about. And ask them if they think it would be a good read aloud. But also, I like to pick books by authors who I know are great at writing books that are great to read aloud. And I know Barbara O'Connor's Wish is a great read aloud. And I have read How to Steal a Dog out loud, and it's one of the all-time best. So it was so wild to be experiencing it with them, right? Like, as a teacher, you want to get to these points where the kids beg you to keep reading. But when you haven't read it, you're also begging yourself and trying to negotiate with yourself, oh, cut 4 minutes of science today, and oh, maybe we can switch this up a little bit and do this later so we can read more. So that is such a fun thing to do. One of the things that my students were just so obsessed with was the fact that Tank, Walter's brother, sends him a letter in the mail, in the service, but Walter hasn't opened it. So it was written probably right before he died. And my kids were just always obsessed about is he gonna open the letter? Is he gonna open the letter? Is he gonna open the letter? And obviously you're gonna have to read to find out what happens there. But it was such a fun book. The end, we were at the edge of our seats. We were in this hot air balloon and we just couldn't get enough. And then the kids oh, I wish that the book would have ended right there. And then there were 2 more chapters, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad the book didn't end when I wanted it to end. Barbara O'Connor is a master storyteller. She's amazing. This book is phenomenal. I highly recommend it. You won't regret it, purchasing this book and adding it to your collection. And maybe you should read it aloud without reading it, because it's so fun. It's such a wild ride and a wild journey. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome-tastic day.